Meet Your Maker, it started 5 years ago at Stirling Castle, and we employed some professional makers to work with some young people and some local people in the community, inspired by the castle to kind of create new art pieces. And we were really keen to do it up at Duff House. It's got beautiful grounds, the architecture is amazing, it's got pieces of the National Galleries.
So first we went down to Duff House and had a little look around, got a tour of it, and just like looked at all of the like minor details of the whole house and everything. And then we went to the smithy, and then we got to pick what we wanted to make.
So it's been really important for the young people to work with professional craft people so they can learn from them the skills, but also kind of see how they work as artists and what that means in the real world.
David has a lot of knowledge to willow, and he's very experienced in using it.
I'm an artist maker who works primarily in steel and willow. There are 3 different strands of my work: community work, commission work, and also pieces which I produce for events.
Naomi, she's a really wide range in what she makes, and it's very detailed and really pretty stuff, like the jewellery.
I am an interdisciplinary designer, which essentially means that I use a background in architecture to work from different scales, from jewellery to sculptural objects and installations.
And I really enjoyed working with Megan because I just loved using stuff at the smithy. It's really enjoyable.
I'm a jeweller, silversmith and toolmaker, so using a mixture of traditional and contemporary kind of techniques in order to make my work. You never know what they're going to come out with at the beginning when they start opening up their sketchbooks with all these drawings and pictures, and what they end up with is just like a whole journey to get there, and it's really inspiring to see.
I decided to go with a candle holder, and I used copper as my main material for it. In Duff House, I really took a liking to all of the candelabras and chandeliers and stuff like that, so I just kind of incorporated different shapes and patterns that I saw into my design.
I've actually been working on 2 pieces. I've made a willow dress that's supposed to be inspired by the kind of corsets that would be put under dresses that would be worn in Duff House.
One of my pieces is made of willow. It was inspired by flowers because the Duff House is covered in flowers from that era.
I think bringing different materials in and working with willow paper and silver is a really nice way to reinterpret these materials that were used in historic and more traditional forms and bring them alive again and reinterpret them.
I think you're rather blasé when something's on your doorstep. I think both speaking to students and to older people within the community, then you tend to find you take it for granted. When you get given the opportunity to look at it from a different perspective, where you got to go and look at it as an artist or as a student, really, in that sense, you got to go and examine it and look at it very, very carefully in detail, and it produces a different response. That response itself manifests itself in the work that they have produced, and that has been surprising probably for the students as much as the artists have been working on the project.
I think it's a good idea using Duff House because it gives us history of where we live.
I've been in Duff House so many times in my life, and I'm just noticing stuff now and finding stuff out about it that I didn't know before.
Making the project revolve around something that's kind of central to their area means it is something that they're proud of and something that really does inspire them. The things that surprised me is the sheer range of outcomes. I mean, often I think one of the downsides of doing the design part of the art and design course is that it can become quite prescribed, given the skills that teachers have, the resources that classrooms have. I think often in schools it's difficult for pupils to see that this isn't just a subject for a few people who have this kind of talent, that really if you are interested in it, you can learn these skills and you can have a career.
It was good to see what their working environment is and how they get to do what they like to do and be able to express, and for them to help us.
I thought it was really good, and it let us see what their jobs is like.
In the exhibition we've got artwork from the young people at Banff Academy, but we've also got artwork that's been produced by the professional craft makers themselves. It's lovely to see their work sitting alongside of it, and actually what's brilliant is when you see the exhibition, it's really quite hard to kind of gauge whether it's one of the professional craft people or the students, because the quality of the students has become so high.
I think I've been led in terms of my making by the students. A lot of them looked at lighting, and that has led me to making a series of sculptural lighting, which I've never done before. So that was a really lovely surprise, that I'm inspired by working with other people and definitely inspired by working with the students.
If projects like these didn't happen, I think for one, our pupils that we've been working with wouldn't have had the experience and wouldn't have learned the skills that they've learned, which is really important, and not in terms of just learning skills, but the whole process of making, you know, and failing and learning to do stuff again, and keeping repeating the same process and working how you can change things and modify things to make everything better. And I think that's a really amazing thing for them and a great experience for them to be able to get involved with.
We're working together with local people in the community, and just quite nice to give the space to people to do something with and feel like they're part of the house and the history of the house as well, and they make it come alive.
Tell me your thoughts on the exhibition. Absolutely amazing. Like, if I had this opportunity when I was in school, I would have been absolutely excited about it. And it's just brilliant to be able to see such a range of materials and techniques being used by young people. And also you can really see the influences of the makers in the work as well.
It's really interesting because there's a lot of really traditional shapes and ways of making things, but a lot of really contemporary things as well. Some slightly wild ideas, which is great. It's a really nice combination.
I have made a headpiece inspired by a wall pattern in Duff House.
Built a deer head that hangs on the wall.
The exhibition, I think everything looks great, and like seeing everyone's work hung up and like together, the finished product looks really good and everyone worked hard on it.
It's different because I'm never going to be able to do something like this again.
Why are projects like this important?
I think they're important for, in particular for young people, to see their work valued and taken out of the context of the school and taken into a gallery, and to have that benefit of working with somebody who's creating really interesting artwork on a professional basis is great, is a really good experience.